phone down so we sound all crazy. So,
There we go.
yep, there we go. We're live in effect. There we go. Peace, everybody. We're gonna let everybody come on in. Take the time to come on in. You know what I mean? Get everything situated.
For sure.
Um, while y'all come in, please, as always, please go ahead and follow. Me and the good brother Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Um, go ahead and give us a follow, a like, and a share, so more and more people, you know what I'm saying, can get this wonderful information. Because tonight's going to be a powerhouse. I'm very excited to have the good brother on here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a good connection. I always love reaching out to these good brothers and sisters with such good spirits, man. And it's an honor, literally, for me to talk to these and be, situated, being able to communicate with these good brothers and sisters, man. And this is tonight is no different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, keep on coming in, please. Like I said, go ahead and follow Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast if you haven't already. Go ahead and like and share it and get it on out there because we're gonna start. Everybody looks like it's coming in nice and warmly now. So if you have not already, um, Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast, we are here to uplift humanity. And also, we're here to assisting waking up the melanated
Melanated
zombies that have been asleep for way too long. And I'm very happy to see that they're starting to wake back up. We are starting to wake back up. It's a beautiful feeling. Um, and if you haven't already, go ahead and go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com and pick up my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. I thought I had one around. Oh, I do. I knew I thought I saw it. Thought I was going crazy for a second. Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions, polka.rabbitpodcast.com. People always ask me, Zoser, why do you have such diverse subject matters? Why you, have such diverse guests on? Seen and done a few things. I talk about that in the book. So if you're interested, please go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. Check out that book. That's it for me. Now we're gonna get to the main event. The good brother we have here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let you, introduce yourself, what you are, what you got going on, and please.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, thank you again. I'm honored to be on the podcast. I've definitely checked out some of the other videos and shows you've had with some other guests, and very profound. Each and every one of them are like, unique in their own way, and I can definitely see how you have different flavors come in to make this whole production. So, my name is Ku-Naga Nakhash. That's kind of what I go by at this moment in time. A couple things I do. I'm a wellness facilitator. I host retreats internationally, and they're wellness retreats where we specialize in focusing on really becoming the highest version of self with application. I mean, a lot of times people kind of get uh, lost in the research or the studies of everything, and I'm a big part of applying things. And then also I'm a tantric practitioner. It's a very new study of mine, but I feel like it's something that I've always been per se involved in. But now, it's taken to another level as far as getting really in depth with it. And yeah, another thing, I'm actually releasing a book soon, titled Intrinsically Rich: 6 Ways to Increase Your Awareness. So that's a little bit about me, just to get started.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get down to that book thing. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, like, as you know, I'm an author as well. I'm definitely excited to hear what this book about. But we'll get there. We'll get there in time. So yeah, man. So let's start kind of like from the beginning, man. I always like to ask, so what was your like childhood up like growing up? Like how was where at what was that like?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from DeKalb County, Georgia. So, growing up here was very unique. It was very abstract in a way. My parents, my dad especially, was very cultured, especially when it comes to music. And music plays a very important role just in my life in general. But growing up, my cousins, they practice Islam. I grew up in a Baptist household, and my father, because of the type of music that he listens to,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up listening to a lot of like Bollywood and like Hindu culture things and just things from all over the world, really. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I've always been a very open individual. Like I will never forget, like going over my cousin's house during times. I would like be interested in the way that they prayed because obviously, we had two different religions. So when I'll be over there, I pray like, pray like I'm practicing Islam. And then when I'm
Mm-hmm.
over at my spot with my folks, I'm back to praying like them. And so it's just
Mm-hmm.
like being able to get a mix of everything kind of help to shape the individual I become.
Yeah, I'm sure that had to be an advantage too, because once you're in the middle, you can see both sides. And most people that on just one side, it's a shame that so many people still, even today, dealing religion, they're like, oh, you can't, he's a Muslim, you can't pray. They do that crazy stuff, and the other, what I'm saying, all that division and ignorance as far as not, when I say ignorance, meaning like the lack of knowledge and knowing about religion. So being in the middle, you could see both sides. You're like, wait a minute, what? Why y'all tripping? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's a similar experience that I had down the line. You know what I'm saying? So I know, man. So you from Atlanta, DeKalb
Mhm.
County. So how was
Yeah.
it like growing up in A? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I lived there, like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? That's my technically that's my home. But yeah, how was it growing up there in the A?
Oh man, all me and my sister, we always used to say like we're quote unquote special because we grew up in DeKalb. It's like a
Mm,
boiling pot of a whole bunch of different type of people. But
yeah.
at the same time, my parents used to always tell me like, you're very lucky because we grew up in an area that's predominantly black,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it was more of like um it's like a suburban area, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you
Yeah.
had you had people who were successful, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
who had started families in that area and everything. And
Mhm.
so like growing up in that area, it was like we had it was kind of hard for me to like kind of pick up the idea of racism and things like that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I wasn't really exposed to it. I really
Mhm.
always saw my own people, and
Mhm.
we didn't really have too much mix going on until I
Mhm.
got to like high school, and I
Mhm.
started taking like advanced classes and traveling and
Mhm.
stuff like that in high school. But like when we had I was in a band, and our band program was like very very profound,
Mhm.
especially for like high school middle school band. So like we took music and everything very passionately in
Mhm.
that area, and I feel like that was a very important aspect to
Mhm.
just my development,
Yeah.
just sounds and frequencies and things like that. Because
Mhm.
circling back at it, at the level of awareness that I'm at right now, it's
Mhm.
like wow, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't believe I can't even realize I was doing all this stuff back
Mhm.
then. It's like not
Mhm.
compound interest at this point in time. So I'm very thankful for where I'm from. Like I
Yeah.
kind of brag about it a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's I can understand why you could brag about not only but living in A and the cab, but also just being able to have that experience that a lot of people don't have an experience because it's like, you know, because me as well. I played what instrument did you play?
I played the alto saxophone, tenor
Okay.
saxophone,
Okay.
yeah, all the saxophones.
All the sax, yeah, because I played the oboe and then I played the baritone. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah,
and I was just talking to one of my homies recently, and we were like, we were talking about the fact I played the bow tone and aerotone. He was like, so you can read the treble bass, I mean, treble clef and the bass clef. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But see, if you're not a musician, you know what I'm saying, you really don't know, you know what I'm saying? You can't really relate to the fact that, how that is, just having the knowledge to be able to read both clefs. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, bro.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's a superpower.
Yeah.
Honestly. And
Hmm.
I say another benefit too, just to kind of I forgot to mention, like being in this area growing up,
Hmm.
being surrounded by like the mountains that we're surrounded by and the type of
Yeah.
nature
Hmm.
in the area, it's very profound
Yeah.
because it's like we have these grids growing up, like, and it's a certain energy field that's
Mm-hmm.
here, and so I feel like that kind of helped expand our creativity in a sense.
Mm. I agree 100%, man. Because you got Stone Mountain, you got Arab, what is it? Arabi.
Arabian
How do you
Mountain,
say it? What is it? How to pronounce it?
Arabian Mountain.
Arabia, yeah, Arabian Mountain.
Mhm.
And what else is it? And then you got right up the street, you got the daggone mounds up in Kennesaw, the Etowah Mounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
You got
Etowah Mountains.
yeah, and then down what an hour or something, you got the Eagle Rock Mound with your Massey over there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you got so much stuff in Georgia in that area, man. And if you go there, you can feel the energy. You're right, man. You can feel it,
Mhm.
and you can definitely see how that can influence creativity. You know what I mean?
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So how about this? Okay, so you're half Muslim, half Christian, so to speak. Uh, you're Chrislam, but so you grew up Chrislam, and what was your next step to go beyond that aspect of just religion? What were you like? Wait a minute, I understand what y'all both doing, but how was that journey for you?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you asked. It really started to change when I got into college.
Mm-hmm.
I pledged a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, and
Mm-hmm.
once I pledged, it was like I had a conversation with God or my higher self, really,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really trying to figure out why I wasn't able to kind of maneuver like some of my bros was maneuvering. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just had a different like kind of makeup in a sense. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I had that conversation, and then I was like, I want to experience what they experience. I want to kind of like let go of these boundaries I have. I want to really
Mm-hmm.
just jump in the fray. And after that, things started shifting. Like literally everything I
Mm-hmm.
asked for, I started receiving
Yeah.
it. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
started receiving it, I started to realize, oh, this is the reason why I never wanted it in the first place. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Because I started to like give myself away in different ways where I was draining myself and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
feeling myself. And so
Mm-hmm.
after that moment in time, when I was going through those experiences in college, it was like at the same time when I go visit my family, at this point in time they moved to Alabama, so I was traveling to Mobile, Alabama, and I would go to like church with them, and then I started to like feel like it wasn't really the church, it was more so like some of the teachings that we're experiencing. And I had a friend in 2016. He hit me up and he started to tell me about like secure party crediting and
Mm.
like the straw man and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so that really right there kind of started to everything started happening at one time. Like I found out
Mm.
about that. Then I found out about the like apocrypha and there's like the lost books of the Bible and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Then at the same time, I started looking to Hebrew, the Hebrew Israelite type of thing at
Mm-hmm.
that moment. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little path that I went to. So all this information was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But really what made me kind of step out of just the religious aspect of things was reflecting on how I came up and seeing what I had in my peripheral at
Yeah.
this moment. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to connect the pieces to everything. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay,
Exactly.
like this got a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
something, this got a little bit of something. And it was a little scary. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like especially the secure party creditor aspect, because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, everybody's lying to us. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't really,
Yeah.
this whole time I'm thinking
That's a
I'm
tough
one
pill to
thing.
swallow, man.
Yeah, it is. And so it just, but at the same time, if you don't give up and you just kind of have like that persistence, it's like, all right, there's more to uncover, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I started to dive deeper.
Yeah. 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 So it considering you were in Georgia, um, and you went to Alabama, et cetera, did you ever go down the route of like checking like where your lineage from, like the from a native aspect? Was that ever something that you did or aware of on your end?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It's funny because growing up, a lot of times we would say like in school, yeah, I'm 16% Cherokee, or I'm like, blah, blah, blah percent this. And so I always had this affinity to indigenous tribes or native
Mm-hmm.
tribes. And my pops, you know, he decided to do a DNA test, and I kind of wasn't really like that privy or even that for the DNA test. Honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of want to go with what resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, at a young age, I had a this type of akashic memory in a sense when he
Okay.
was telling me about my great grandfather. My great grandfather, he was Choctaw, and he actually lived on Choctaw Nation land. He spoke fluent Choctaw.
Mm.
He's from Mississippi, and
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, he's telling me about the story, and as he's telling me about the story, I just had this vision, and it stuck with
Mm-hmm.
me to this day. Like, we were coming
Yeah.
back from Memphis because
Mm-hmm.
my pops from Memphis, my mom from Arkansas, so it's like they right there. And we coming back to Georgia, and he told me the story, and I had this vision, and it was like this native, like what people would consider Indians or Native Americans, and it was fire everywhere, right? Just fire everywhere, and they were running in these different routes and stuff. And before I even knew what Akashic memory and things was, you know, that kind of stuck with me. So it's funny that you ask this question now because um within the last few years, it's been more of a thing where I'm like figuring out, okay, I have ties to the Choctaw, you know what I'm saying? I have ties to Moorish
Mm-hmm.
aspects. I have ties to all these things, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, painting a picture of what resonates, because sometimes certain things resonate more at a specific time or whatever I'm trying to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm talking to some Moorish brothers, then I may identify as that.
Yeah,
But then if
exactly.
I'm talking to, you know, people who are more tribal in a sense, then it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'll let them know what my lineage comes from, and it comes from
Mm-hmm.
more from Choctaw. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, lately it's been a thing, to be honest. So,
Yeah, I think that with a lot of stuff, because the good brother Asir, the Duke of Tears, he's been saying this for a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Rod Hayes, he's bringing it down. Dane Calloway, all of these good brothers are putting this information. I even heard Ye talking about it. You know what I'm saying? One time, I think he was on Alex Jones recently. He's like, the black people in America are the Native Americans, and I think, and if y'all watch my show, y'all know I have a lot of individuals and a lot of receipts, including good Uncle Rod, but a lot of other individuals that have done their paperwork literally. The good brother Darvid or Osiris, he that joker right there, he goes down to the actual, he goes in, you know what I'm saying? So there's no question about where the facts are. You know what I'm saying? About what the bloodline, the records, etc. And I'm saying all this to say that this what we're talking about there is a very important topic that we need to all discuss right now. The fact that, like he was saying earlier about the straw man stuff, the fact that we were mistold about we were lied to about our story. And specifically here in America, the vast majority of, I'm keep on saying it, the vast majority of here in America were already here. They call us what? Was it Native American Indians or Native? I can't remember which one. I think it's American Indians, right? That's like I guess that's the technical term. And then, with pencil genocide, they pretty much wiped us all out and call us Negroes. So please listen to this good brother. All these, it's very important to look at the information that a lot of us already here and we're native to the land. I had to kind of put that out there. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit because, you know, it's interesting to me because you're talking about the fraternity aspect. Because, through the years, I'd be like, oh, you know, fraternities, they're pledging Greek. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they just want to be Greek like the Greeks. I'm sitting there saying that, that's what I'm thinking, lack of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But then I started listening to Bobby Hemmett and I started listening to all these other people. They're like, yo, all the Greeks were black. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So how was that, the original ones, that is. How was that experience with you? You know what I'm saying? How was that experience with you dealing with the whole um, fraternal black experience, the black Greek experience?
Oh wow, man, that was a very transformative experience to say the least.
Yeah,
It definitely introduced me into more of a physical manner of rites and rituals and things like
yeah,
that. And at the same time, it when I look at the whole aspect of Greek. because I played as alpha, it tied to like the pyramids and it tied
Mhm.
to like the Nagas and certain things like that. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
when I was even interested, although, you know, of course, my dad and my brother, like it's kind of like a, you know, generational thing. He
Mhm.
started it in a sense. But more so like that was like the very surface level aspect of it.
Mhm.
Once I kind of, you know, what drew me to it more so was like the pyramid teaching. I started looking into, okay, where did the Greeks even get these things from? And
Mhm.
then they
Yeah.
got it from ancient Kemet. And even like
Mhm.
some of the steps and some of the strolls we would do when, you know, we was in college and, you know, we doing these different like step shows and things like that.
Mhm.
We were mimicking certain aspects of what they would call
Mhm.
tutting, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And these
Mhm.
different things. And so when you're moving your body in certain ways, you're evoking an energy. And
Mhm.
we would evoke this type of energy. And all this stuff at the moment in time I wasn't super privy to it, but
Yeah.
I had a moment where, you
Mhm.
know, like I said, I was introduced to certain rites and rituals and things when I was pleasuring.
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
I had a moment during the time of pleasure, and it was like a dawning moment, like, oh
Mhm.
wow, like, you know, when we're contracting and we're saying certain things and giving certain oaths and all this stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay, like this is a real thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for
Exactly.
me, at that moment in time, this is before I was even like, this was like 2014. This is before I kind of started hopping into this more conscious, more say, more aware lane of things. I was already questioning at that moment in time because I was like, you know, I can see how, like, depending on how deep you going into the fraternal aspect or what
Mhm.
your role is in that,
Mhm.
you know, certain energetic weights and certain contracts and things that you're binded by. And
Yeah.
so I operated in a way to where I wouldn't be binded by certain things. Although
Mm.
it was a great experience for me.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, the way I went through it, it's kind of old school. So it's like, you know, not many people like it's a lot of karmic debt I was able to get off doing that process.
Gotcha. I'm with
So
you. I'm with you. I'm
you
with
know
you.
what I'm saying? It was real cool.
You know, it's interesting because earlier you were saying talking about how you went on your journey, and I remember Bobby Hemmett saying something. He was just like, you're not Moors, you're not Hebrews. He said you're all. He was saying something like you're all of those and you're everything because you know you were there from the jump. And even dealing with Dr. York, how he laid out the whole foundation. You know what I'm saying, of each one of those, so you could see yourself in them. And see the origins of that. You know, it that's like it makes it shit show you that all is an all, you know what I'm saying, on the metaphysical aspect, you know what I'm saying, how it's all connected. I wanted to now, did you stop at just your fraternity? Did you move on to like the Blue Lodge or anything out? Did you ever were you
Nah, you know, when I, like I said, around, I pledged 2014 and then around 2016, 2015, 2016, I
mhm
started getting into the security party creditor aspect of
mhm
things. And that's when I started to learn about more of the other secret societies, like
mhm
certain Masonry, certain rites and rituals they went through,
mhm
certain just I started to really kind of started dive into the metaphysical side of things,
yeah
but more
yeah
so, you know, and so that kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, that kind of at a moment in time scared me from like going any further as far as like joining any type of groups or anything like that per
mhm
se, mostly because I was like, wow, this information is coming to me without me having to take any oaths or anything
yeah
for it. And so once I like open myself up to start to receive
mhm
in a sense higher knowledge and higher information,
mhm
I kind of got a chance to bypass certain things. I was
yeah
like, all right, cool. Like I don't necessarily have to go. And I like I said before, I'd already got a lot of the karmic debt off during the other process. So it's like, all right, cool. Like now I'm opening myself up to be able to receive this information.
yeah
Now it was so much light at a point in
mhm
time. I'm seeing, okay, I see how you can get blinded by this
yeah
because it's an energetic weight that comes with the knowledge that you're learning.
mhm
And when you're
mhm
taking that stuff in, it's a process of it. That's
mhm
why I see how
mhm
people can get scared when they get
yeah
exposed to the truth because
exactly
it's a vibratory energy that comes with the
mhm
truth. You know what I mean?
mhm
And so
mhm
when I started getting exposed to the truth though, I was leveling myself up slowly and slowly and slowly to the point to where after I had certain some people call initiations or things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I had certain moments in my life where I became activated, and these activations was able to push me into a higher cycle, or what
Mm-hmm.
you would say, like, you know, we're kind of going up the spiral to our source or whatever people call it. So nah, just to be short, small. I mean, to be honest, there, you know, I'm a part of some things, but it's like they're a lot further than just the physical. So it's like I
Yeah,
can't really
yeah,
speak on all of
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's see, I think that, and that's why I was kind of going that route, even dealing with the fraternal aspect, because, you know, if you know anything about fraternities, anything, any orders, you know, you got to keep the secret sacred, and you know, and dealing with that aspect, also just dealing with the rites of passages that we all take, you know what I mean, and grooming us as priests, you know what I'm saying, or priestesses, you know what I'm saying, um, you know, and our, as you know, in our culture, you know, it took you what 40 years for you could even become a priest. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So imagine, you know, just think about that concept. Just think about, you know, the type of knowledge we had to have. You know, if you and I were talking 30,000 years ago in a at the Temple of Dendor, you know, just visualize and imagine. You know what I'm saying? Us speaking our language. You know what I'm saying? Us imagine us looking at the hieroglyphics, and you know what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
that is something that was still held on to us to a certain degree with these fraternities, man. So I
Right.
always give props to anybody that goes down that route, especially the ones that are able to tap into the metaphysical side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in all this journey, okay, and this is kind of I'm kind of bouncing around, but did when did you connect with like real how important it was having like just keeping your body right, eating right, you know what I'm saying, and how you know what I'm saying how when did that come into play in effect?
Oh man, that's funny. Well, you know, I've been very aware of certain things for a long time. So microwave's been out for a long time, right? Now I guess you would say. And
Mhm.
so, you know, back in 2000, I'd say 2006, I did like I was in sixth grade at that time, and
Mhm.
I stopped using microwaves at that moment in time because I did a
Mhm.
project on how like microwaves emit certain frequencies and things that are harmful to the body. And
Mhm.
so at that moment, I was like, okay, no more microwaves. I started
Mhm.
speaking on the phone. I started realizing, oh, phones, if you're using certain type of phones for too long, you know, it can cause brain cancer. So I
Mhm.
was like, all right, I'm speaking on speaker every time I'm talking on the phone. I don't care where I'm at, you
Sound
know.
like
So
me.
like started the transition. You know, I'm not a type person where I'm like, oh, like I'm plant based, you know, I'm better than now, or like no eat no meat.
Yeah.
I was eating meat for a long period of time. I've only been plant based for about like 2.5 years now.
Mhm.
But I would say like that process alone
Mhm.
started changing heavily from around 2018. It was like, okay, cool. I started to read the Bible, and I'm looking into Leviticus, and I'm looking
Mhm.
at Leviticus
Mhm.
diet and things like that. And I'm like, all right, some of these foods are unclean. And
Yeah.
regardless if I'm going to church or not, I'm reading this for my own interpretation. So,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing the benefits when I'm not eating these foods. So let me start cutting those things out. So I started cutting out pork. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
started cutting out different things. And then I slowly started going from like fish to just going into, I went raw for a little bit when
Mhm.
I was living with my other roommates. And then, you know, I kind of like transitioned to fully plant-based. And so um, it's a process, you know, and I even have some mentors of mine who are more on the breatharian, you know, journey of things. And I feel like it all depends on your mental aptitude, you know,
Yeah.
to be
I agree.
honest. That
Mhm.
that's the mind is all. So it's always going to depend on that. But I can say that it is has assisted me in my processing because I'm not as dense because of the foods that I've been taking. And it's like
Yeah.
I don't have to necessarily um use a lot of my energy in certain things to convert
Mhm.
or to
Yeah.
release certain energetic aspects as far and it's physical when I'm eating certain foods. So when I
Hmm.
cut into straight plant based, like lately I've been drinking a lot of juices, you know, and it's a
Yeah, yeah.
continuous thing, you know.
Hmm.
Eventually, I do want to do breatharian aspects maybe for a little bit.
Hmm.
It may not be like the end game. You know, I'll still
Hmm.
consume food, but it's a journey. So I'm just like whatever's on my highest purpose of the path, you know, I'm gonna do what it takes at this point. You feel me? I'm
Yeah.
already on the path. So
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because it's even like on my end, like I was saying, I was with the good brother Aris Lathan recently, and when I was with there, like I think I ate once, you know what I'm saying? Because he just had all these juices, and like you, I'm thinking like that's the direction, like because I didn't know the science behind juicing, you know what I mean? Like I knew it was good for you, I knew all that stuff, I know, oh, yeah, you juice, but the way he explained it was a little different, like just how you cannot get all the nutrients you can with a lot of these juices and not activate your digestive system. And I'm just like, dang, man, just imagine how much energy, like you're saying about being dense, how much energy that you are able to save from not even turning your digestive system, but getting all the nutrients you need.
mhm.
Amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that, man. So all right, so we're bouncing around again. So you do the whole secure party creditor, you find out about the straw man, you're like, dang, man. And this is some BS. They using us for our energy, you know what I'm saying? They all this, I got this bank account and where all this stuff. When did you start to get to the metaphysical aspect, and who were some of your teachers that you learned from on that journey?
Oh wow. Okay. So you know, it's funny. I didn't really. A lot of people in the metaphysical community, of course, you know, they know the greats like Bobby Hemmett, like Dr.
Hmm.
Delbert Blair,
Hmm.
and you know, people like that. I didn't really come into Dr. York. You know, I didn't
Hmm.
really come into that knowledge of people until like I would say very recently, like
Yeah.
2019. And
Hmm.
so, but 2016, I had a friend of mine. Well, 2015, I had a friend of mine. His name was Amaru, and
Hmm.
you know, we kind of he hit me up one day. He was the one who told me about the secure party creditor,
Hmm.
and we just started going through a rabbit hole because he
Hmm.
was subjecting himself to a lot, through a lot in order to get
Hmm.
this information.
Yeah.
But because of our bond, you know what I'm saying, and our friendship, he, you know, was sharing this information with me. So as he's learning, I'm learning, you know what I mean? And I'm taking out the notes. You know, he got to a point in time where he was able to and this is the, you know, I'm not even gonna say that on but I would just say that, you
Yeah.
know, he started
I
able
know.
to get access to certain levels of knowledge, and he
Yeah.
started teaching me things. And so um the metaphysical side really kicked in around 2018, kind of going into 2019 when I started
Hmm.
to learn breathing techniques. And so
Okay.
the very first breathing technique I learned was a variation of the breath of fire.
Okay.
And when I learned this technique, although I had been getting so much of the written knowledge of stuff, it didn't click. None of that stuff really
Yeah.
clicked until I did this. And when I
Yeah.
did it, I activated the DMT within my pineal gland,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
I started to see. And so at that moment in
Hmm.
time, like if you ever done, you know, sacred plant medicine, like, you
Hmm.
know, much of anything like that,
Hmm.
you understand what I'm saying. When
Yes.
that when the DMT molecule is activated, you start to see how everything is in motion, you know, and we already know the law of vibration, you know. So at this moment in time, I'm looking at I'm looking at the walls, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the ceilings and things, and I'm seeing everything flowing. I'm seeing like there's actually movement, everything. I'm seeing more colors that I'm not
Hmm.
that I wasn't really aware of, you know.
Hmm.
And I had some inner expansions, and so that moment in time after doing the breath work, it really just propelled me into the metaphysical side of things because
Hmm.
um, I mean, for me to be honest, um, it's always been a part of the journey, but you don't take it seriously until you have certain experiences, and that for me, and that sets it in stone. Where it's like this is
Hmm.
unrefuted. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't go back after this.
Yeah.
There's no going
Hmm.
backwards. You know,
Hmm.
and it's only straight forward movement since then. And so
Hmm.
you know, shout out to brother Al Carter. You know, I learned from a lot of these you know, um profound, proficient elders in the community, you know, in just different ways. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like I've actually been under tutelage of anybody specifically,
Yeah.
but a lot of what I learned just comes through experience, whether it be
Mhm.
just out in nature, just observing things,
Mhm.
whether it just, you know, something happens where I have a near death experience and I'm like, okay, it's teaching me something, you know.
Mhm.
That though life has been my greatest teacher. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out Al. I see you, the good brother Al. We have to give the good brother back on here too. He's one of the original OGs. Um, on the Polka Dot Rap podcast, and also known that brother a hot minute. We used to all that stuff I was telling you on the phone back, back on the land, all that stuff. Hey man, I saw Al. That's what OG brother, OG.
that's an
Um,
OG right there.
yes sir. Shout out Al. But yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I think it's a very important point that you're bringing up. Is because a lot of people try to do things externally, but once you start to realize that it's all inside of you, you know what I'm saying? And once you learn how to access everything you're looking for, anything you're looking for is inside you. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm very proud. I'm very thankful for the people like Baba Kalindi and all these other good brothers, even the local Atlanta brothers like Chief Nighthawk, Oi, all these other individuals, um, Darren LeBaron, all these individuals that are reintroducing plant-based medicine that our ancestors have done for the dawn of time, and using us again, showing us how important this technology is to evolve, man. That's a game changer right there. People don't understand, man. So don't be all nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, very much shout out to them. Shout out to rest in peace, brother Kalindi, Nababa Kalindi. You know,
Indeed. Rest
it's
in
funny
peace.
because me kind of getting into that world of things. Like I
Hmm.
said, I was just pushed into this world. So a lot of the elders and OGs and things like that, I started to meet them in abstract ways. Like OE, I met OE in an
Hmm.
abstract way. You know, just kind
Hmm.
of the universe puts you in these places with these people
Exactly.
to like, you know, to further expand yourself. So I'm very grateful
Hmm.
for those lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Is that okay? Yeah, is that in that? So that is something that you've as well. That's some of the technologies you've used for your evolution.
Yeah, you know, I definitely use those technologies and facilitate those spaces as well.
Hmm.
Like I said, it really didn't. None of that stuff came to me until after I did the technique, and after
Yeah.
I did the breathing technique. Because I had that experience, I was doing that quite often, and I was really doing the work as far as like breathing, certain sound meditations,
Hmm.
chanting certain
Hmm.
affirmations and certain things. I was opening up higher chakra centers. And as I was doing this for multiple times, multiple days, just going hard on that, eventually the medicine came to me.
Yeah.
And once I did the medicine, it was
Hmm.
like really reintegrating with like, you know, Mother Earth and just the network, the Mycelium network, all
Yeah.
my ancestors, like all at one time.
Yeah.
And I guess because I never abused it in a
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
this day I still don't. You know, I treat it as a sacred expression,
Respectful.
sacred tool. You know, that it can help others to activate and to get out of certain loops and things like that.
Hmm.
But I always teach them the foundations and basics before I even, you know, mention those type of things, because
Yeah.
people can use it the wrong way, or they can
Hmm.
you know, it could be used as like a tool of escapism in a sense, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's like it's all about intention and, you know, doing the
Hmm.
work on top of utilizing the tool.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. I can't agree more on that. That it's um being being able to get back to the point when we can access all our technologies that we have from our, like I said, the rites of passages. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing this, literally for the begin from as long as we've been on this, millions of years, literally. Because
Mm-hmm.
Baba Clinton said spores are millions of years old. They extraterrestrials themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you integrate those extraterrestrial spores with your extraterrestrial DNA, depending on what star system you come from, then
Mhm.
you're gonna have some wake up calls, boy. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you go, you know what I'm saying? You look seeing planets with three suns, and you know what I'm saying? you know
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But Yeah. Okay. So let me. So you recently got introduced that's actually that's a I think that's very beneficial for you. You know what I'm saying? To already have that space of connection in which self was really, what you relied upon, and then I guess having these other individuals to be able to confirm. That sound about right? Would
Yeah,
you?
yeah, because you're familiar with human design, correct?
Yes. Uh huh.
So, my human design, I'm a generator, but I'm a
Yeah.
2-5 profile. So the
Mhm.
2-5, the 2 is a natural. And
Mhm.
so a lot of the things that I experience and learn is through naturally knowing these things and trusting my intuition. I have a
Gotcha.
solar plexus, dang, what's the word I'm looking for? But that's where it stimulates my movement where I need to think and operate.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of it has been like confirmations through my relationships and
Yeah.
through experiences and teaching, not even teaching, but them teaching me in a sense, you know what I mean? But it's certain things that I would kind of know. And then certain things I wouldn't know. And then it just kind of would happen over time where it's like I'm exposed to it, where I'm literally just thrown in the fire. A lot of
Mhm.
times that's kind of what happens for me is just you're just thrown into the fray and like figure it out, and
Mhm.
those experiences a lot of times really sink in the things that I need to know in order to
Mhm.
express and go even further, and then share the knowledge that I've learned. Because after I get into those experiences, I start to do the practices or do whatever I need to do, and it's a consistent thing. And so now I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gotten to this place where I can even share. Because most of the times, I believe when you're in this journey of life, a lot of times these days people are really quick to just learn something and then just want to tell everybody about it. But for me, it's like you kind of have to. It has to be solidified within your knowing. It can't just be something regurgitated because at that moment in time, there's no validity behind it. And
Yeah.
I like, that's just kind of how it works for me.
No, no, and you know how it's interesting because you know how the Christians say stuff like it's a quote, God can only give you, something that you can handle. But, if you're at a point and you're still evolving in a certain level, then the universe is going to be giving you more because of it's going to not, it's going to present you more because you can receive more. You know what I'm saying? So you might get challenged a little more. You might even get more information because you can handle it. Quite
Mhm.
plain and simple, plain and simple. And I think that that's a thing that I think of a lot of people on this journey have to realize because you can feel crazy. You be like you talk about experience you had, and you be like, and people you tell like try to tell some random a normal person, they like look at you like, yeah, what are you talking about? And you'd be like,
Yeah, I definitely can't talk about I can't talk about a lot of experiences I've had because they will think I'm crazy, But those experiences that I enjoy and I love truly, you know what I mean? Because
exactly,
you
yeah,
can't
because they,
refute it.
yeah, 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 and they're yours. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that you had to look in the book. It's nothing that you need to tell anybody about if it's true or not because it's your experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a that's when really when you're really you know you're really coming in with your to your old being your higher self, like you said earlier, that being. That's when you really start to really understand what this place really is and what it's really about. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, I think, a lot of time, I think that just people that are living, especially in the matrix, so to speak, they honestly think that getting a nice job and getting a house with a white picket fence, nothing wrong with all that, but they really think that just getting a nice 401k, saving money, dying and hand it on to your folk, that's what life's about. But once you
Right.
get out of the matrix and you realize that what you're really dealing with, that's like the least of anything what we're here to do.
And I'm glad that you bring that up
Hmm.
because you know you won't really realize that unless you increase your level of awareness to a
Hmm.
certain point. And a lot of times when it comes to certain levels of awareness, it's like you'll be caught up in the loop of things,
Hmm.
and until you're aware of, oh wow, I've been doing this over and over and 20 years have passed, where
Mhm.
it's like, I've been caught in this space, you won't have any change. And so
Mhm.
that's why, a lot of times when I'm having conversation with people, I have acceptance for wherever anybody's at. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not going to judge nobody for whatever they do or whatever they're at. But, I always ask questions and talk about things that may shift their level of perception or
Yeah.
their level of awareness, because all you got to do is ask the question and then they get to thinking, and the seed is planted. It's like the seeds. We're
Mhm.
leaving seeds
Mhm.
everywhere, and so
Mhm.
yeah, when the seed is planted, it's like, all right, you can go further, but
Yeah.
it's serious.
And brothers, good brothers like you, and all the rest of the good brothers and sisters I've had on this show, it's a beautiful thing to have individuals, especially young individuals that are able to tap into this and being able to reach out to other people and help them on their journey. Because if you would have told me any of this, 20 years ago, this conversation we have right now, I would have asked you to go with me to the loony bin. Maybe we both go in the loony bin, together. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, but now because we're in the age of Aquarius, and now, you know, I always say like this is an interesting thing because for me it's a trip. I'll be looking back at what's happening in this world and even what's happening today. It's a trip because all them people we were talking about earlier, Dr. York, Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Delbert Blair, I can go on and on. They were all talking about what's going on right now. Like it was plain as day. I mean, Dr. York had thick books talking about all this stuff, the vaccines, all this stuff in the Leviathan books. So when I sit there and watch this stuff, I'm just like, uh, what? Like what? To me, it's amazing. What I
Mhm.
mean? Just the day and time we're in, and us being able to experience them. But also, it makes me very happy to see you young brothers and sisters that I'm seeing that here are able to get this information and convey it to help heal people. You know what I mean? To help people become better. That's dealt with trauma. That don't know how it is being halfway in the matrix and halfway out the matrix, man. It's a very important thing, man. And kudos to you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, for being who you are and reaching out to these people to help them, man. Because we gotta each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? And like the good brother Uncle Rod says, all tribes tribe up. All tribes unite, man. This is the time in which all of us, you know what I'm saying, that are aware, no matter what Hebrew, whatever the case may be. I had a good sister was telling me earlier. She just looks at all these different religions and stuff. It's just different tribes.
Mhm.
Cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Wakanda. All the tribes got along. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Minus all that Disney stuff. But um, all tribes unite, man. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You got, the Sabaeans here, you got the Nation of Islam here. We could be different. We could be, but let's work together. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and that's the beauty of it, because nobody has the full picture.
Yeah.
Like we all
Mm-hmm.
have little pieces of
Exactly.
the knowledge, and so
Exactly.
when we're biased to certain things, you're
Mm-hmm.
only gonna be able to see so much, because that
Exactly.
bias is what your limitation is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important for us to move out the heart space and just be
Mm-hmm.
open to certain things, because
Yeah.
when you're moving out your heart, it's already pumping a certain frequency that's 40,000 times greater than the heart, than the frequency of the field of the mind, of the brain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when we're operating in that higher frequency within the heart, and it's opening that magnetic field, now our fields of magnetism expand, and when our fields expand, it allows us to communicate with one another
Mm-hmm.
in higher, without even using words, like telepathy, and
Mm-hmm.
certain aspects like this. And these are the type of extrasensory perceptions that
Mm-hmm.
are needed for us to reach that next level in
Exactly.
society, or standard of living.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll only happen if we kind of get out the ego aspect of things, or I'm gonna hold this to myself, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just profit off of it, because I know it. Where
Yeah.
it's like, I didn't get this knowledge just by myself. Like, there
Exactly.
was many people that shed different levels of wisdom and different seeds with me, and I've been able to cultivate it in a way to where now I can just go and spread the same things, but in a way that resonates to the person who's just tapping into it, or like
Yeah.
what they would call the novice or the Padawan or whatever, because we
Mm-hmm.
all have to be in that level first in
Yeah.
order to get to the next position. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah. 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 You definitely. I'm sure. I'm sure when you were going through your fraternal order, I'm sure you didn't just jump to the top after one day, right? You
Oh man.
you had to go through a couple things, right?
Oh man, yeah. That's a whole journey in itself. Hey, college days swiftly passed. I'm very grateful for that experience. You know, what I mean, we gotta keep going forward.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You can black out. You can block out some things too. Uh, so, so, all right, man. So I'm listening to you talk. I got a good picture of your journey, right? And the different things you're doing and stuff. And on my end, now you're saying from what I read, the information you gave me, you got a book coming out, right?
Yes, 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 indeed.
All right. So before you get in the book, I want to please walk me through before the book what made you want to write the book, why you wrote it, and and what's going on now. So kind of walk me through that journey.
Okay. Well, before the book, I started writing it really a year and a half ago. And I was writing it because for at the moment in time, clearly there was a lot of stuff going on like 2 years ago. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We all
Mhm.
know what was happening and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, but with what was going on, I wanted to make some type of like safety or like clarity, give some type of clarity to the people, because everybody just had a paradigm shift and nobody's really knowing where to go from there. It was a
Mhm.
lot of people who became depressed, you know what I mean? It was a
Mhm.
lot of people who, was more so confining themselves instead of
Mhm.
expanding themselves. And so, when I was going through my journey, I started to just kind of write down certain things that was really aiding me and to learn more about who I am as an individual, as a being, incarnate on this planet.
Mhm.
And a lot of the things were very, very simple for me.
Mhm.
During that time, I found myself out in nature quite a lot, and
Mhm.
that was because here's the thing: like, I really was writing this book. I really started writing this book because they're like they're like two main paths in order to like for people that are kind of going through this process in order to connect to the source, right? A
Mhm.
lot of times people are going from like top down, where they have the source like at the forefront and they're just kind of raining down information from ways of that way, and then there's a ground up. And so I wanted to come at it with a perspective where it doesn't have to be so dualistic all the time,
Mhm.
because even though there is a polarity to this realm that we're in,
Mhm.
when you expand your level of awareness, you realize that it's a whole,
Mhm.
that. So I practice holistic, practices,
Mhm.
and um certain things that I was doing was combining both ways. It could be something as simple as going outside and placing my feet on the ground barefoot. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, this is a lot of people like, okay, this is grounding. This is this. There's a science behind it. The earth
Mhm.
has a magnetic field and we're getting a negative charge from the magnetic field, while you're getting the positive charges from the radiation permeating from the sun. And it's like
Mhm.
you're like a tower. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You have your positive and negative charges. And so I'm getting all this, but I'm like, what's the way to talk to it? And a big part of it was my family.
Mhm.
As I was talking and communicating with my family, my pops, he's like, he's a spiritual man as well, but he
Mhm.
has his own path about things. You know what I'm saying? So having these conversations with him, it helped me to learn. Okay, I don't have to go so in depth with everything, because it may not be for him to know it as in depthly as I do. But if I can express it in a way that makes sense, maybe he'll find some benefit regardless of whatever his beliefs are. You know what I mean? Like, there's some type of middle ground where I can meet each individual, because at the end of the day, like I said, we all have a piece of the pie, but it's connected to something. So it's like, if I
Exactly.
can just get into the connection of things, it won't matter what I say. It's just what it's what the production of it is, the
Yeah,
benefit of it
yeah.
is. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what really made me start to write the book. I was just having a lot of disagreements when I was talking to my family about certain things, and I realized I was projecting a lot without having
Yeah.
the acceptance for certain things. And
Mm-hmm.
so writing this book, it was like, okay, this is a way that I can come at it where anybody can pick it up and they can get the benefits of it without it having to be like, oh, I'm on this path, or oh, I'm
Yeah,
on this
yeah,
path. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah,
Simplified.
yeah, simplify it. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't be too complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. You said that earlier, like we were saying earlier about how everything's connecting. It's like that's a beauty about it. I think this the more you ascend, once you see every aspect of this being, and not being every aspect of this on this third dimension, how it is all connected. You know what I mean? Nature, how it's like, and you look at it as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Because even, in the culture, we call like we don't say God, we call it Papa Ut, which is, the all. You know what I'm saying? Everything. You know what I'm saying? Like our ancient way, our ancient essence with like the all, it's everything. It's not here, not there, but it's all everything. And I think it's like the more and more I evolve and just look at things, it's like the more you just let go and let it, like you said earlier, let it be. You know what I'm saying? Then it flows to you, man. It's not that difficult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They made it way more difficult than it really is. You know what I'm saying? You know. So yeah,
That's a fact.
so the book, is it, when you say it's a simplified aspect, is it just a way to get to self? What is it that you're conveying the simplicity with?
So basically it's six ways to increase your level, to increase your awareness, right?
Okay.
And it's really about awareness, this book is, because when you become aware of things, it doesn't even, you start to see everything,
Yeah.
like, and so
Hmm.
you'll naturally start to come into what people call God, or you'll naturally start to come into your purpose, or you'll naturally
Yeah.
start to connect with people, because now you're aware of the fact that, oh, okay, it's not just me.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, it's not just what I was taught here.
Hmm.
There's a bigger picture here. And
Yeah.
so if you can just increase your level of awareness, everything
Mm.
else will kind of fall into place. You'll start being aware of the fact of the words you're speaking. You'll start
Yeah.
being aware of,
Yeah.
how you go about your thoughts, like
Hmm.
what you're thinking daily, or like the type of energy you're giving to certain things.
Hmm.
So that's why I say awareness is like a superpower,
Yeah.
because once you once you tap into that, then it's like, all right, what we're talking about as far as just the 3D, then we're starting to realize, oh, there are different dimensions to
Exactly.
this, reality. And it's
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I wasn't aware of that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Or, it could be something as simple as your connection to like a tree, like going and
Hmm.
hugging a tree, and you realizing, wow, I literally feel better after I hug this tree if I'm
Hmm.
upset or anything like that. And it's
Hmm.
because, oh wow, this tree is sentient.
Hmm.
It has a intelligence behind it,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so that's why I'm just wanting to push the aspect of awareness. And this is just my first book, and it's really at a level to where it's like anybody can pick it up, and it has practices to where it's like a workbook.
Yeah.
At the end of the book, after you're finished reading just the aspects of the six levels of it, it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go practice this for 30 days. These
Hmm.
different practices that I can do, each of them different in their own way, and
Hmm.
as well as it incorporating a level of awareness where you're increasing that, it's also tapping you more into yourself. So it's like
Hmm.
you're connecting more with who you are innately, which
Hmm.
is divine. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? A lot of people, we kind of forget that, because we're going through, like you said earlier, the matrix and these everyday things. And
Hmm.
when we're getting into the mundane aspect of things, we're forgetting the divine aspect within
Yeah.
ourselves,
I agree.
So
Hmm. Yeah. No. 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 And it's very important, and which is something that I got to kind of talk about. What you just said. It's just like simplicity.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Simplicity. And as much as you want to make nature complex. You know what I'm saying? It's got rhythms, but it's complex, but it's simple. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
both.
And you as
Yeah.
a being, the more you simplify things about the important things and just really come into the meditation, like you said earlier, eating right, all these, these things that really get your soul connected with your body, you know what I'm saying, and going within, you'll start to slow down. You know what I mean? You just like you saying about looking at trees. I mean, all this awareness, everything you're talking about. Once you're aware, you look at everything completely separate. I mean, completely different, I should say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You look at animals different. You know what I mean? You look at the trees differently. And then you look at situations in your life that come up. You know what I'm saying? And you connect the dots to that stuff because you understand. You're aware. And you're so right how super awareness is a superpower. You know what I'm saying? That's spot on, man. Like on so
Yeah,
many ways.
not to cut you, just to
No, you got it.
kind of add to that, um, when we say like certain things are simple,
Hmm.
in order for us to really understand the complexities of everything that's truly going on, you have to
Hmm.
go through the simple aspect because it's all holistic in a sense. They're
Yeah.
all connected too. So it's like, you know, a lot of times when people prematurely open up their third eye and they
Hmm.
start like getting all this information, and I was like, I was telling you at a point in time, I was getting all this light and it
Hmm.
started to become heavy and I was
Hmm.
having shakes from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the stuff that I just acquired. And I didn't develop myself at a simplistic level to be able to
Yeah.
receive and harness that
Hmm.
same light.
Hmm.
So us incorporating and building our levels of awareness to a
Hmm.
certain level, then it's like, all right, cool. Once I've gotten to this point, and I'm using level as just like a lack of other word, but once I've gotten to this point of awareness, it's like any type of higher dimensional information or light or wisdom in these things, your body and your this vessel withstand it
Hmm.
and actually convert it to something that's useful and
Yeah.
practical. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times we get all this information, we don't know what to do with it. You
Do
know
do
what
it.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Hmm.
so we have to have some type of practical application first,
Hmm.
and then we graduate, to
Exactly.
this next stage in our life.
No, I think that's real interesting. That's a very good point that you're bringing up because that's another thing that we, the people that are watching this, if you don't know this already, life is a marathon, man. It's not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? Just like we were saying earlier, if you sitting there and you got to become a priest or a Jedi, a Padawan, like you said earlier, it takes you 40 years to be a Jedi to get your lifesaver. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You didn't get that overnight. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It takes time. You know what I'm saying? It takes time for us to evolve, grow, and build as individuals. And you can't beat yourself up, especially, and you can't compare yourself to other people's journey because it's
Hmm.
your journey. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm. That's a fact.
Yeah, man. We got our own paths. You know what I'm saying? It's just, be in the game to play it. My beautiful tribe out there, my family. Be in the game to play it. Realize what life what it is about. Try to find your purpose. You know what I'm saying? And just embrace it and run with it. But no, sprint with it. I mean, jog with it because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you don't want to get out of breath.
Right,
Yeah, you know what
right.
I'm saying? But the stuff we're talking about is the stuff that it's the most important stuff that we can talk about in this day and time because of the awareness that people, that we have and the energies that are coming down from these planets, you know what I'm saying? That the time we're in. And this everything we're doing to make this awareness because to bring this awareness is so important to help us and help humanity. You know what I mean? Because you know you might want to kind of talk about this as well, but I guess I can say this and ask a question how you feel about it. But I feel as though the way the world's been, because the world has only been hijacked for a very short period of time, relatively speaking. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
Right.
and for us to have a collective consciousness around the globe and start to embrace love, you know what I'm saying? I think that's something that can eradicate, these evil forces. You know what I'm saying? But if you'd like to elaborate on that, please.
Well, yeah, for one, love is the highest power. And I'm going to
Hmm.
say that and stand on that because
Yeah.
everything that we do, it don't matter if you consider it bad, it don't matter if you consider it good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, for when you're tapping into your passion on whatever spectrum it is, it's
Mm-hmm.
love that's driving that
Yeah.
passion. So, you know, it could be the craziest serial killer, it could be the, you know, high priest of whatever. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's love. And so
Mm-hmm.
the thing about love is that love, you can't for one, it's an energy that's not biased. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody can experience love if you
Yeah.
open yourself up to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so another thing about love is that in order to really harness, not even harness, but experience the energy of love, you have to open your heart space to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Now that heart space, it's a tricky thing because, you know, certain people can have a love for, you know, diabolical things,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But what happens is that if you're able to open up your heart space, like I said before, it generates and pumps a magnetic field that expands you. So the torus field around you is starting to collect information into
Mm-hmm.
and perceives information at a higher level. And
Mm-hmm.
then that in turn, in alignment with your mind or your mind's eye all together, um, it actually enables us to feel one another. So
Mm-hmm.
empathy starts to happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I can go down the street, drive down the street, and I can
Mm-hmm.
see somebody that's literally like they can be lost or whatever, and I just
Mm-hmm.
know, okay, I know the information they need. Let me start. Oh, what's going on? You need to help getting that to the
Mm-hmm.
post office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Like we start to look out for more than just ourselves because we
Yeah.
realize, for one, we're all connected. You
Yep.
know, it don't matter the skin complexion or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that we're all inhabiting this planet. Now, granted, there
Yeah.
are some tricky aspects to that, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, at the end of the day, we're all connected. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we move out of our heart space, um, you're able to perceive a lot of things. It's harder to hide. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
harder to
I
really
agree.
hide what your true intentions are because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're given to you upon meeting the person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times when you closing yourself off to feeling or
Mm-hmm.
closing yourself off, if you think, okay, I'm gonna just be so logical to this, and I feel like the logical mind is gonna solve all the answers.
Yeah.
Now you're closing yourself off to the other half of what it is to be
Mm-hmm.
holistic and to
Yeah.
have, you know, all your faculties enabled. And when
Mm-hmm.
you have all your faculties enabled, you're going to be able to see through deception. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to, you know, provide love even when somebody's trying to deceive you.
Yeah.
And then when that's happening, they're able to get something out of that too, because they're like,
Exactly.
wow, like I try to get over on this person, and it's like, man, they'll start to you know, rethink or recalibrate or, you
Mm-hmm.
know, have a difference in perspective. And I've been in situations like that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, regardless, I know where you're coming from at it, I'm gonna just show love because I'm gonna be taken care of regardless. You know,
Regardless.
when you
Yep.
move out of that aspect of love because it's the
Mm-hmm.
highest power, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you're always gonna be on top. It don't matter if it seemed like you losing at that moment in time, but
Mm-hmm.
it trumps. It's like the
Yeah.
trump card. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's real talk, man. That's very profound what you're saying, and for people that can really relate to that, it's you know you know I always just say just do right. You know what I'm saying? Like literally just do right. When I say that, I'm saying it because of what you were just saying. It's like if you do right and you're in your space, like you said, whatever anybody try to comes across you, hey man, all right, well cool, we good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep it
And,
moving.
and another thing about love is that when you have a level of self-love, you know what it's like to love yourself. So you're not gonna let somebody else come in there and just mess up everything that you got going on. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like I already have this level of love for myself. I
Mm-hmm.
can tell that you don't have that same level of love.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even let you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
give me a facade or play me like this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's funny because, you know, practicing tantra or whatever is like you kind of, you know, back in the day, it was harder. You see good looks, you see like a nice body, you see these things, and you
Mm-hmm.
like, man, like she fine, like let me hop her down, blah, 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 blah. But now when you moving out of the heart space and stuff, all that's a facade. You see right
Yeah.
through it because it's
Yep.
like, dang, how are you treating yourself? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're not even open to love. Like it's like, they'll be closed off, or you could just see how they,
Yep.
it be certain symbols and signs,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of love, because
Yeah.
when you start to really love yourself and you start to express that
Mm-hmm.
outwardly, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like you see other people that love themselves at a level that you do, and then you
Mm-hmm.
see other people that love themselves even more than you probably
Mm-hmm.
love yourself at this moment, because it's always a journey. And
Yeah.
then you see other people too that's like, they may not love themselves as much, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, cool, like, let me whoop de whoop, I can't even give the words from it, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been in those spaces as much as of lately, because I've been attracting more and more people that
Yeah.
love themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
a certain place.
Light, light is going to be attractive to light. You know what I'm saying? The dimness can, well, too, but like you're saying earlier, if you're seeing a being that is shut off on that stuff, you see that. So you're not gonna let them come in your sight, in your space, you know what I'm saying? Even though, what do they call them? Energy vampires. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah, the people that try to take your energy, but nah, you know what I'm saying? You you are a light, a shining light, you know what I'm saying, to humanity and to your people around you, you know what I'm saying? And the more you evolve in being your being in itself, the more you just keep on getting stronger and stronger, and the more you can share and help people, man. And I think that's a wonderful thing that you're saying about the love aspect. I think, in all honesty, more men, we should have more men talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I have no problem to say my brothers, man. I tell my brothers all the time, they'll tell you, man, I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
Hey,
sure.
hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
And I heard something recently, and it's kind of it stuck with me. Because when I started to hold these spaces, like these wellness spaces and things like that, these retreats and stuff, I
Hmm.
was always attracting nothing but women. It was like no men would come, no men would come.
Yeah.
It was all women every time. And I realized that when it comes to us men, a lot of times, if we, as long as we're still living and we're having experience and stuff, a man will naturally go into the spiritual aspect of things,
Hmm.
because it's like our proclivity in a sense
Hmm.
but it takes time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It
Hmm.
depends on, obviously how many times you've experienced certain things within your I guess when people say human experiences,
Yeah.
what I mean, lifetimes or whatever. Um, but ultimately, you get to a certain age, and even though I haven't, in this lifetime been 40 yet, or 50
Hmm.
yet, or 60
Hmm.
yet, um, I see how when I talk to older men, I'm like, okay, you get it. Okay, you get it. But then it's
Hmm.
like when they're like, yeah, when I was your age, I was doing this, I was doing that. And it's like, but you get it though now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Regardless.
that's
Yep.
the thing. If we can get more men at younger ages, and see, the issue is that, and shout out to Master Yao, shout out to Adara,
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Because they're very I would say, they taught me a lot just about tantra and certain things, but they also taught me a lot about, just certain rites of passages, like we said,
Hmm.
when it comes to men,
Hmm.
and especially on the Western culture of things, because a lot of there's been, we've had issues of, like, we've been on Section 8 housing. Then a lot of times you've been just with your mother, you know what I'm saying? Because men
Hmm.
aren't even allowed in those houses for the most
Hmm.
part, and so getting um we're going through these experiences where we're not getting the rites of passage aspects of what it's like to take into that next step of being a man, and what
Exactly.
it requires. It requires discipline. It requires, effort. It requires, you have to be in a hard space as a man, because it's like, if you're not in a hard space as a man, then it's like you lacking in your facilities,
Yeah.
your faculties. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But we're not taught these things, and we
Yeah.
don't learn those until trial and error, and it kind of
Exactly.
typically happens later on in life. And
Hmm.
so if we can just get to the point to where we're having rites of passages, like 7 years old, you start doing this, like in these tribes and things, like how we used to be.
Yeah.
7 years old, we know you went through these cycles. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
You've experienced your first cycle. Now you have to experience this, because this is a
Hmm.
part of your graduation aspect
Yep.
of it. Now you've learned a certain level of manhood or masculinity. Then you got
Hmm.
this next 7. You got this next 7. It's like 21.
Exactly.
We become 21. We got to get out of the house, and we got to do these things. But it's like we still don't know nothing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
got to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
experience and learn on our own, and sometimes it take
Hmm.
longer like that,
Yeah,
you know.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think that I always thought that that was one of the things that I did like about stuff like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. You know, all these different groups that actually set up structure. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, rites of passage, or gave our people a culture. You know what I'm saying? In which they could have they had a blueprint for the
Mhm.
women and men. That I always think that I always say that still to now today. We need culture. You know what I'm saying? Be it I don't care if it's like the culture coming from like a Native American aspect. I don't care if it's any type of structure that we have, these rites of passages, these things, that's what we need to get back to, you know what I'm saying, as a people. Bump all the rest of this stuff. That's crap. But we need that culture in that way that we can cultivate beings. You know what I'm saying? That's such an important thing that, that is needed today. And truth be told, as individuals like you, maybe life for 21 years could have been your trial and error experiences, and somebody meets somebody like you, and then they can get back on that path to see what they, you know what I'm saying. It's all we always meet, if we're looking for those teachers, we're going to find them at the right time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's your story. Every time I sit there and I talk to these wonderful guests I have on here, all of our stories are so similar. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all have gone through these certain things, and eventually it's like bam. You know what I mean? It's like bam. Now it's time to get down to business. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to embrace, self. Now it's time to embrace our powers. Now it's time to stop the foolishness. You know,
Right.
it's it is our rites of passage. You know what I'm saying? It's our a way of growing and evolving into getting to our higher self. You know.
Yeah, I always say as long as we get to each one do the work that we gotta do to reach our higher self,
Hmm.
then we're all gonna provide the place and the
Yeah.
space to be great,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it falls on each person, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because I'm gonna do what I gotta do and set the
Hmm.
space and create whatever I gotta create in this lifetime. But
Hmm.
then those other people who I created space for and they get into the space, it's like, all right, cool, now it's your turn. You gotta
Your
do
turn.
what you gotta do. And
Yep.
we
Yep.
all play a pivotal role in this
Hmm.
experience.
Exactly. And going back to what you're saying, Everly, if you take that very again simple concept, right, and you play it in as a seed across humanity overall, you know what I'm saying? Man, I don't I'm an optimist. My idealism days might have gone away, but I'm an optimist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe in love, and I can see how if we were able to, as humanity, to embrace the which we just talked about now, this could be utopia. It don't got to be all crazy and horrible like it is now. We just doing that
Right.
because the people that run it have come from a crazy, horrible mindset. You know
Yeah.
that it doesn't have to be like this.
That's a
No,
fact.
it's not been like we said earlier. It hasn't been like this for a short period of time.
Hmm.
There's a reason why they call it ages, golden ages and dark ages. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we can work together as tribes. We can work together as people. You know what I'm saying? But one of the key things you saying earlier is that love, man. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about being blind to love and all that kind of stuff. If somebody chop you in the neck,
Right.
and I ain't talking about none of that. Don't
Right.
get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first one to leg drive somebody if I need to. But when it comes to just dealing with just general people being good, man, there's nothing wrong with love, man.
it
I can say that, man.
it has many different shades. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because your mother, she'll love you, or your dad will love you. But if it's time to, you know, reprimand you, you know what I'm saying? They gotta do what they gotta do. It's
Yep.
all love,
So,
though. You know what I'm saying?
and I think that people, the people that are shining examples, I think it's good that we have people that are examples of showing that love and being able to how do you explain it? Like being able to make each, like you said, the different sides is there's different sides of love, um for it to be still for the benefit of upliftment, for not only us but for humanity overall, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm interested. I got to get your book. I'm gonna get your book. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get your book. I'm gonna tell
Okay.
everybody to get your book. You know what I'm saying? And I'm officially adding you on as one of the also the geniuses that I have on that come on the show. So you're
I'm
added on
honored,
to
bro.
one of those. And I'd be honored if you come back on again. You know, we can build in the near future, especially after you get your, the book come out. You know what I'm saying? Things are warming up. Let's come back and let's build and talk, man,
For
about
sure.
your experiences and it's whatever we're gonna do, man. If you haven't already, please follow the good brother. And yeah, you can give everybody your info, just to have it documented. Your all of his stuff's in this description that he gave me, so y'all should be able to say that. But yeah, go ahead and put it out there with for the
Oh
good
man, thank
people.
you, bro. Yeah, you can follow me at AIASCO, ASCO. Or you can actually visit our website, www.limitlessnrg, the letter N, the letter R, the letter G.org. Tap in. The next retreat that we're having is gonna be in Ghana. And
Hmm.
that's gonna be March the 3rd. So that's gonna be really fun. And yeah, you can just reach me at any of the social media sites or the website. And yeah, I definitely appreciative of being on this platform. Very honored, and yeah, I'm much gratitude.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, it's all love, right?
Right, I love.
All right. Well, this has been a pleasure as well. You know what I'm saying? And thank y'all for y'all good people tapping in. Like I said, if you haven't always, please follow Polka Dot Rabbit podcast and follow the good brother, and also like and share this. Get this information out. We're trying to get this information out to the people. And show your boy some love too. You know what I'm saying? Cash App. That I ain't gonna hurt because I'm, you know, going to do my best to keep on getting better at what I'm doing and sharing more information. And in the near future, my second book will be coming out as well. We need to go on a book tour together. How about that? Let's set that up.
Right, right. That'd be cool, man. Let's set it up.
um, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? Again, polka dot rabbit podcast.com. Check out my book, the first one, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions.
That's
Um,
all. I'm tapped into that. Yep.
yes, sir. But yeah, that's it for us. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and put this up, and peace and love to everybody. Thank y'all for sticking around, and another wonderful night, another wonderful soul and spirit here on the other end, and y'all have a great night. Peace and love.
Peace and love, y'all. Peace, peace.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let's